To quote Larry David, pretty, 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 pretty good. Avengers 2.5. Captain America Civil War. I'll start off by saying that Captain America the Winter Soldier was by far my favorite movie in the MCU, so when I heard that they were having a sequel with the same directors and the Civil War storyline, I was pretty darn excited. But on the other hand, I didn't love Age of Ultron. I actually thought it was a bit of a mess in a lot of places, so I wasn't really quite sure what to expect. Is it a Captain America sequel? Is it kind of an Avengers movie? What's it gonna be? But this movie was great. It was everything I wanted Age of Ultron to be, but executed 10 times better on all fronts. It hit the Marvel formula perfectly. And the Marvel formula is basically, you want there to be jokes and you want it to be fun, but you also need real characters that are going to invest the audience in what's going on. And I've gotten a little frustrated with some people in the past defending some of Marvel's worst movies, just throwing popcorn flash, oh, it's so much fun. You can have fun and still tell a real story, real characters, real things going on. You don't need these horribly written jokes that just completely take you out of the movie and quite frankly at times insult your intelligence. But this movie hit it perfectly. A ton of credit needs to be given to the Russo brothers and the writers because there's actually a lot of comedic moments in this movie, but not once does it feel out of character or take you out of the story. Now, I thought one of the best things about The Winter Soldier was the action, and this movie kept that going. There's so many great moments in this movie, and what was really amazing is that it seemed like the action got progressively better as the story went along, right up until the final battle and the climax. Every character got their chance to shine in this movie, and that shouldn't really be possible. With this many characters in a movie, it should make the story feel a little clunky, a little out of place, like that scene doesn't belong. But I was so impressed with how the action really fit well into this movie. I've heard some people say that there was a little too much shaky cam for their liking. I didn't really notice that at all. I never felt that. In the Bourne movies, for example, I really noticed the shaky cam. I didn't notice it here. There was no moment where there was a bunch of chaos I couldn't decipher going on. I thought the action was actually directed really well. And the reason that action works so well is because once again, the cast completely knocks it out of the park. But what really surprised me is that it wasn't just the heavy hitters in the action scenes. The three new guys, Black Panther, AntMan, and SpiderMan, actually had a lot of really great action scenes. It wasn't just the Captain Americas and the Iron Mans. Let's start with Ant-Man. I know he's not new to the MCU, but he's kind of new to the Avengers lineup, and he worked so well in this movie. Seriously, every time he was on screen, I had a huge smile on my face. I wasn't a huge fan of the Ant-Man movie. I didn't think it was very well executed. I thought some of the writing was really sloppy, generic, lazy. The jokes weren't that well written. But this movie perfectly illustrated how good of a supporting character he can be in these movies. He is the perfect comic relief character. Next up, Black Panther. I'm going to be honest, I knew nothing about Black Panther going into this movie, but I love this character. Chadwick Boseman is a star. He nails it. And the introduction to this character was so badass. I loved it. It was the perfect introduction for a character like this. And I hate to be that guy that compares, Civil War to Batman v Superman, but I can't not do it here. I have to compare Black Panther to Wonder Woman. Almost everyone raved about how much they liked Wonder Woman in Batman v Superman, but she's given nothing to do in the movie. All she does is make the slow-mo Zack Snyder love fest action shots. That's all she does. We know nothing about her personality, her character, her motivations, her background. There's really no reason to be invested in that character. The only reason people want to see more of her is because A, they thought she looked hot and kind of cool, or B, because they thought her action scenes were well executed. And then you look at Black Panther in this film, and it's not even close. First of all, he's a relevant part of the story. You get to know who he is outside the costume, what he represents in the costume, where he came from, why he's doing what he's doing, and it's all still a tease. You get to see him fight, you get to see him talk, but you don't know that much about the character. It just teases you to get you more excited for a future standalone film. I equate it to there being two equally hot boys or girls that you're attracted to. But then you go on a date with one of them, and then you go on another date, and then you meet her friends, and you meet her parents, and you like the same things. You have an instant connection. Why would you care about that other girl? That's Wonder Woman. It's just not, there's nothing to interest her besides her looks. There's no character. It's just a look. And Black Panther had so much more substance, and that's how you introduce a character and get people excited for the future of that character. But as much as I like Black Panther, there was someone else I was even more impressed with. Hands down, this is the best version of Spider-Man we've seen on film to date. And I'm a huge fan of the first two Sam Raimi Spider-Mans, but this perfectly captured the wit and sarcasm that Spider-Man has. He's this young spider kid or Spider-Man trying to discover his powers, and he's having fun doing it. But at the same time, there is tragedy in his past that inspires his values. He had a great relationship with Tony Stark, like I expected he would, and he had a lot of really fun banter with the other characters. Much like Ant-Man, he's not in a lot of the movie, but when he's in it, you have a huge smile on your face and it's very impactful. My biggest concern going into this film was that it would feel like the stakes weren't real, that it would feel contrived that the Avengers would be fighting one another, but luckily that wasn't the case. There's certainly moments when they're fighting certain characters that you don't feel a ton of emotional weight behind it, but that's intentional. But there's other times when there's a ton of emotional weight behind it, and no one is stopping until one victor emerges, and that stuff is very intense. And I was so thoroughly impressed with how they really presented an equal side for Cap and Tony. You actually didn't really know who to root for. I went in going Team Cap, I'm Team Cap, but when you watch the movie, you actually see valid points on each side to the point where I don't think you can logically argue that one person is right over the other. I will say I didn't love the way the event transpired that led to the government wanting to bring the Avengers in. It was an accident. And when you watch the scene, there's not really much else the Avengers could have done. I think narratively, it would have been a much better choice if one of the Avengers made a really crucial mistake because of carelessness, not because of the unfortunate circumstances surrounding that situation. It still works fine in the film. I just feel like it was a missed opportunity and it was a little nitpick I had. The one thing that really holds this movie back is the same problem that Marvel keeps having, and that's the villain. Zemo is the name of the villain in this film, and I just don't feel like he was necessary to the story. I think if you took him out, you would have still pretty much had the same movie. You just require a couple minor tweaks to the script, but he didn't have a ton to do. It's nothing against the character or the performance. Daniel Bruhl's a great actor. He brings everything he can to the character, but it's kind of just a generic revenge plot with a really convoluted plan that wasn't really set up all that well throughout the movie, and it comes off as more of a distraction more than anything to the real story going on, which is Cap, Iron Man, their ideals clashing. And I just really don't know why they felt the need for a tertiary villain in this story. It just didn't really work for me, and I don't think he's going to be memorable to many people. The film wasn't as serious as I hoped or expected it would be, but it ended up not mattering. I've never minded the lighter tone in Marvel. I just don't think they hit that tone very well more often than not. They have a hard time balancing fun and drama, but they did it perfectly in this movie. There's a lot of moments that are really serious and work really well, but there's also moments that just put this big smile on your face. It's a movie that you're going to be emotionally invested in, but have a great time watching as well. The Russos have proved that they have a great grasp on this universe. They don't obsess over universe building, bad jokes, or multiple plot points. Their priority is to tell the story. And as a fan of great storytelling and great characters above all else, that really excites me for the upcoming Infinity Wars. I can't quite get this to Medal of Honor, but Captain America Civil War unquestionably receives mission accomplished. So guys, what did you think of Captain America Civil War? What side were you on going into the movie, and what side were you on coming out of the movie? And where would you rank this among the other MCU films? Whatever you think, comment below and let me know. And if you like this video, click like. Thanks for watching, and until next time, see you later.